Yo, what's going, guys? It's JMONEY back again with another video, and today I'm here with PSG once again. Say hello.
What's up, guys?
Alright, so what we are doing for this video is we are predicting the Western Conference and Eastern Conference, but the Eastern Conference will be in the next video. But this video is going to be strictly about the Western Conference and how their standings are going to look and who is going to win the playoffs in the Western Conference. And yeah, thank you to PSG for letting me use this idea. He was going to use it for his, but he got overscheduled, so he just let me use it. So thank you, PSG, for letting me use it.
You're welcome. All right, so it's what I assume is we're going to start at the 15th seed first. It's going to be the last seed, and we're all the way up to what will eventually be the number one seed in the conference. So I'll go first. The 15th seed in the Western Conference, I have the Dallas Mavericks. Even though they did just draft Dennis Smith Jr., I don't think they've made as much improvements as any other team in the league. When they're getting older, I don't really think they're going to do much besides tank this year. I think they definitely end up with that 15th spot. What about you?
For the 15th spot, I actually have the Phoenix Suns. I mean, I know they drafted Josh Jackson and all, but they have Brandon Knight out for the season. And they might be trading Eric Bledsoe. So, you know, you never know, in my opinion. But I have the Phoenix Suns there.
All right, for number 14, this one is the second indoors team. This time I've got the Los Angeles Lakers here. They did just get Lonzo, but their team really isn't complete. They do have Jordan Clarkson, Brandon Ingram, and Julius Randle returning, but I don't think there's enough talent really there, and I haven't seen enough from Lonzo and Brandon Ingram to show that they're going to be stars in this league, so that's why I've got them at second to last, 14.
Here at 14, I have the Dallas Mavericks, and like you said, with Dennis Smith Jr. and them not being complete because they didn't make any moves, they just basically have the same team except with adding Dennis Smith Jr. pretty much. They didn't really make any moves or trade anyone away or sign anyone big. So let's go on to the number 13th seed.
Right, for the 13th seed, I have the Sacramento Kings. This is one down from where they were last year, but they did get a boost from having DeMarcus Cousins for almost 50 games. I think they're going to fall down, even though I did think they had a very nice offseason, bringing in a number of veterans, along with those rookies that they drafted, which include Harry Giles, Justin Jackson, and De'Aaron Fox, who I absolutely love. But I think they're going to finish with the 13th spot in a very, very difficult Western Conference. Could almost be a playoff team in the Eastern Conference, but I think they're going to be the 13th spot in the West.
All right, so for 13th spot, I have the Kings there also because I mean, I love De'Aaron Fox and all, mainly because I live in Kentucky and I watch a lot of Kentucky basketball. I just love De'Aaron Fox. I loved what he brought last year, but they lost to DeMarcus Cousins to the trade for Tyreek Evans, who signed with the Memphis Grizzlies. But they also lost Rudy Gay to the San Antonio Spurs. So they don't really have anybody like star-wise. They have like a lot of good. Wait, what was he gonna say?
I guess what were you gonna say?
No, what was he gonna say?
You saw it with the Grizzlies and the Raptors when they lost Rudy Gay. Their team improved because he's a guy who is ball dominant, can't really shoot the three. And it's really, you're better off without him. So I think that was a good move to let him go. And with the DeMarcus Cousins trade, you did also forget that they got the 10th pick, which they used to trade down for 15 and 20, I do believe, which they landed Josh Jackson and Harry Giles. As well as Buddy Hield, who did show some promise last season. So I think that's a very, very solid team. Yeah,
that is, but you gotta think the West is stacked this year. Like, the East have nobody. Like, you can have role players from the East be all-stars this year. Pretty much.
Yep. Alright, for the 12th spot, I have the Phoenix Suns this year. I liked what I saw from Devin Booker last year with the addition of Josh Jackson. I think they're going to be pretty good. Brandon Knight, though they did lose him to a torn ACL, wasn't really all too successful as the sixth man of the year, or the sixth man candidate, I should say. But they do still have Eric Bledsoe on the team. With Marquise Chris is still coming into his own, along with Dragon Bender. I like this team a lot. TJ Warren, I just assume he's going to be their sixth man this year. I think that's going to be a very, very solid team. That's why I like them at 12. Is those top four of those young teams out of the West.
Yeah, and for number 12, I actually have the Los Angeles Lakers. I actually like the way this team looks this year, mainly because they have a lot of good potential and stuff with a lot of young superstars like Lonzo. I honestly don't like Lonzo, but he showed up really good in the summer league. You also have Julius Randle if he could stay healthy. You got Brandon Ingram, again, if he could stay healthy throughout the season and not get injured like he did in the summer league. You also have Jordan Clarkson and Brook Lopez. Brook Lopez was one of the best centers in the East at one point. Best center on the Nets, without a doubt. So hopefully he can bring that to the Lakers.
Yeah, but I think that'll definitely be a little bit more difficult with him playing with some of these other young guys who need the ball a little bit more. He definitely had the ball a lot more than last year than he's going to have this year, so it'll be interesting to see if he can be able to fit that role. So moving on to the 11th spot, I actually have the Memphis Grizzlies here, a team I like a lot. I think that this is 7th seed last year, but losing Vince Carter and Zach Randolph is really going to hurt this team, and I would not be surprised at all if you see Marc Gasol being traded at the All-Star break, right around the trade deadline, because I don't see this team going very far with the pieces that they have left. And even if they do make it into the playoffs, they're going to get swept or lose in 5 games anyways. So they're really in that sticky situation where they probably should start tanking soon, which I would like to see because I like how they're grind, but that's why I have them at 11. I don't think they're able to compete in this tough of a Western Conference.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Even though I like the Memphis Grizzlies and Mike Conley and Marc Gasol, there's just too much competition in the West this year. It's gonna be hard to rank the top 8 seed, But yeah, I definitely agree that the Grizzlies they lost to Zach Randolph, which is really big. So it's going to be tough to see.
So this is that who you have at your 11th spot as well now?
Yeah.
All right. So moving on to number 10, this is where it really starts getting tough as there are 10 very solid candidates for those playoff spots. But here I have the Los Angeles Clippers. It's a huge question mark around Blake Griffin, who will be the star of the team, is if he can stay healthy or not. And he hasn't shown me that he can stay healthy, and even when he's on the floor, they're almost sometimes better with him not on the floor. But can he take over and be that star player? Yes, but we'll have to see. I don't believe he can be that, so that's why I have him at number 10. I'm sorry.
That's all right. But yeah, I definitely agree that the Clippers, without Chris Paul, they definitely lost a big star in him with the trade to Houston, but they did gain a lot of stuff back with a lot of role players and stuff. They also got Patrick Beverley, who's a very solid point guard, but yeah, I definitely agree that they are not going to be as good as they were last year or the couple of years before that. So yeah, I definitely agree that the Clippers are going to be at number 10.
All right. So the last team I don't have making the playoffs is the Utah Jazz. Now, this is a team that definitely could make the 8th seed, but Rudy Gobert is the best player on their team. And I don't know if he can lead the offense quite yet. Derek Favors, there's some injury questions. They have Joe Johnston, who's getting up there in age. I don't know exactly how old he is, but you never know how much longer he'll be able to handle it. Along with switching George Hill for Ricky Rubio, that is going to be a very difficult thing for them to do, as Rubio can't really shoot, and that's very hard to fit into an offense. So that's why I got them at number 9.
For number 9, I actually have the wait, I just had it in my head. I have the Portland Trailblazers. I like Damian Lillard and all, and I like how CJ McCollum has definitely grown as a player. And Jusuf Nurkic, he was a really underrated player on the Nuggets, and then he came out on the Trailblazers after the trade and just absolutely dominated. But I just think that the Utah Jazz is going to be like a better team, possibly an 8 seed over the Trailblazers, in my opinion. But yeah, I just don't think that the Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum duo is going to be enough to get them into the playoffs this year.
Very, very possible. So going into the playoffs, obviously the last 8 teams left, I have the Denver Nuggets coming in at the 8th seed. I love Nikola Jokic, but again, a lot of the other players are question marks on this team. They just lost Danilo Gallinari, which is going to be a big blow for them. But I do think Nikola Jokic is going to be very, very good for them, and I think that's enough to push them into the playoffs.
All right, so for my 8th seed, like I said in the last, in the number 9 seed, I think that the Utah Jazz is going to be the number 8 seed. You're going to see Rudy Gobert get a lot more touches. You're going to see Ricky Rubio pass the ball a lot, so that's going to leave people like Joe Ingles, who played really good in the playoffs this past year. You're going to definitely see him bring out a lot more of himself this year. You also have Rodney Hood also on there as well, and you still have Derek Favors coming back from an injury and stuff. So I still think that the Utah Jazz are going to make the playoffs, and yeah, that's just all I think.
So coming in at the 7th seed, I have the Portland Trailblazers. I am much higher on Damian Lillard than you are, apparently, but I like where this team is. They just traded away Allen Crowder, I think holding it back a little bit. They have a little bit extra cap space. Might be able to trade for a guy like Carmelo Anthony, possibly, if they'll waive their no trade clause for them. But I like this team. They were struggling. I think they were the 10th seed before they made the trade to get Jusuf Nurkic. I think it really helped them possibly get that 6th or 7th spot, and I personally have them at the 7th spot.
All right, so for a 7th spot for me, I have the Denver Nuggets. Nikola Jokic, he has definitely improved as a player. Definitely, if Giannis didn't get the award, I would have given it to Nikola Jokic, the most improved player, which we did a video on that. Little plug. I'll put that in the end or in the description. Go check that out. But yeah, I have the Denver Nuggets there because they have a lot of young talent there, as well as you have Emmanuel Mudiay, you have Jamal Murray from Kentucky, Kentucky Nation. But you just have a lot of young talent there. Gary Harris also comes to mind, and you're going to have to see a lot of more touches around everybody ever since they got rid of Danilo Gallinari. So it's going to be interesting to see, but I think the Denver Nuggets are going to be the 7th seed.
Yep, that makes a lot of sense. So going into our top 6 seeds, these are the teams that I think possibly have a chance to be top 4 seeds, I would say, and even make the second round. Coming in at my 6th seed, I have the New Orleans Pelicans with DeMarcus Cousins, Anthony Davis, Drew Holiday, Rajon Rondo, a team that would be excellent into 2012. But I like this team a lot. I think it could be that 6th seed for sure. Possibly he hurt the Thunder, or not the Thunder, but the Houston Rockets, the Spurs, or the Warriors, whoever gets that 3 seed. I think they could definitely put some damage into a team just because they have 2 of the best big men in the league. So I think that they have definitely a good chance to put a lot of damage into all these Western Conference teams. That's why I've got them in at number 6.
I also have the New Orleans Pelicans at number 6, mainly because you have Rajon Rondo and Drew Holiday, great point guards, especially back in 2012, like you said, but they are still pretty good, and Rondo is good at making plays. The thing about it is he cannot shoot the ball, and I think that is going to be the weakness for him, but he can play solid defense, and also you have the best big man big men in the league, in my opinion, with Anthony Davis and DeMarcus Cousins. But their bench is going to be like lacking and stuff because they're paying like Solomon Hill $9 million per year, and that's really their star player off the bench pretty much.
Along with Jordan Crawford, who had a pretty good second half of the season.
Yeah, and I like Jordan Crawford back when I played 2K14, NBA 2K14. I liked playing with Jordan Crawford in all honesty, and yeah, I think he's going to be really good this year. But yeah, I just think the Pelicans are going to get number 6 seed.
All right, coming in at the number 5 seed, I have the Oklahoma City Thunder. Now, you could obviously switch out the Wolves and Thunder for this one. But personally, I have the Thunder here. I don't know how well Paul George and Russell Westbrook will gel. And just because of how Westbrook played, it's going to be a little bit harder for those guys to be able to share the ball a little bit more. 2 guys who can have the ball whenever they want, not share minutes. And the other thing is they don't really have much besides Russ and Paul George. I know they have Enes Kanter if he cannot punch a chair, and Adams, but that's really all they have. I mean, who's their backup point guard? Is it Samaj Christensen?
I think it's either Samaj Christian or Alex Abrines.
Yes, they just signed some other guy, but whoever it is, they're not very good. So I don't know. I don't see them making a top 4 seed, but they definitely can if the Wolves do not play very well. But again, that's up to whoever picks it, obviously, just a prediction. And as a Wolves fan, I think the Wolves can take the 4 seed.
Yeah, and unfortunately, as a OKC fan, I do have the Thunder as number 5 seed. Like you said, their bench is kind of lacking. They only have Enes Kanter, which if he cannot punch a chair, he would be healthy, and then we would probably make the 5th seed, maybe even 4th seed. But like as you said, they also added Patrick Patterson and Doug McDermott last season, so that is going to be interesting, and I am liking how the roster is laying out, except for the bench a little bit. And I kind of wish that they would not start Andre Roberson because he cannot shoot a free throw for his life, and he cannot shoot for his life. And I just think if the less minutes he has, then the less of a liability than he can be. Because as you saw last year in the playoffs against the Houston Rockets, he was a definite liability, 2 for 19 from the free throw line. And yeah, I just think that the OKC Thunder is going to be number 5 seed. And let's go ahead and go to the 4 seed.
Well, obviously, I already said I have the Minnesota Timberwolves. I like what they're doing. They have Jimmy Butler now, Karl-Anthony Towns, Andrew Wiggins. Definitely good pieces. They brought in Taj Gibson from the Thunder as well. They have Jamal Crawford, who they just brought in from the Clippers. And I think they could definitely sign someone else like a Tony Allen, which would be a very nice piece. As well, they brought in Jeff Teague, a lot of good pieces brought in. Heck, they could even trade for Kyrie Irving, possibly. I think that would be a very good team, very solid possibility for that Western Conference Finals. But if they're the 4 seed, I think they're very unlikely to make it past the Warriors, but you can only hope.
Yeah. And for the 4th seed, I have the Houston Rockets. I know, kind of a shocker, but they did trade away a lot for Chris Paul, which was like pretty much half their bench. And that was like a lot of good players on the bench, like with Lou Williams and Sam Decker and all them. But I just think that they did sign Chris Paul. Well, they traded for Chris Paul, but I just don't think they're going to be as good as they were last year. And I just think they're going to end up with a 4th seed.
Should be very well. I have them at the 3 seed personally. But again, I also did see Chris Paul and James Harden were playing a pickup game. I don't remember where I saw that. I know I saw it on Instagram and where they were. But they looked very good together. along with guys like Ryan Anderson, Trevor Ariza, Clint Capella starting, I think they could definitely be the 3 seed still. And I don't think the Wolves will have a hot enough start to catch up to them personally, but I don't know. Definitely, I've got them at the 3 seed. The Wolves could they make a push for the 3 seed? Yes, but I would say they probably need Kyrie Irving for that. But I have them at the 3 seed, and I assume you have the Timberwolves then at the 3 seed.
Yeah, you are right. I do have the Timberwolves for the 3 seed. I'm a big Jimmy Butler fan, and I'm a big Karl Anthony Towns fan. I do like how Wiggins plays, and I just like a lot of the players on the Timberwolves now, with Jamal Crawford and Jeff Teague. Jeff Teague, he was all right back on the Hawks when everyone on the Hawks were all-stars except for DeMar Carroll, and yeah, but it's gonna take some getting used to for the Timberwolves to get on a roll with all the players and see who has to get like which touches and stuff. But I think they are gonna get like hot later on in the season and then end up with a 3rd seed. And I'm guessing me and you have the same number 1 and 2 seeds.
Yep, I mean, just go by that quickly. Number 2, the San Antonio Spurs, don't see anyone knocking them off. And then obviously the Warriors, unless they catch an injury, they should still be the number 1 seed. Like, even if Kevin Durant gets injured or someone like that, I think they still could end up as the number 1 seed.
Yeah, same here. I got San Antonio as the number 2 seed and Golden State as the number 1 seed, which the Golden State Warriors, they kept everyone and even got better. So they're definitely going to be number 1 seed. And yeah, I just don't see anybody stopping them.
Yep, very true. Now, you said we're going to do the playoffs, and I just assume that is the conference finals prediction, which I would probably say it's going to be a repeat of Warriors versus Spurs again, with obviously the Warriors making out into the NBA Finals for a 4th straight season.
Yeah, I have that also, San Antonio versus Golden State, and then unless Zaza Pachulia injures Kawhi Leonard again, then I have Golden State winning. But still, you know, unless like Golden State catches an injury, then maybe San Antonio, but
or even Houston possibly. I think
yeah, maybe even Houston's, but like I can't really have that because I have them as a 4 seed.
Really make it to the conference finals, so we'll see. Maybe you can break the curse this year.
Yeah. Alright, but that is going to do it for this video. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. If you did, be sure to leave a like. Be sure to go subscribe to PSG. We did a video about the award predictions, and I'm going to be put that in the description and as an end card on the video. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next episode. Peace.
You should be turning it up. CBT, LBC, yeah, we hooking back up. And when they bang us in the club, baby, you got to get up. Cuz homies, yeah, they giving it up. Low life, yo life, boy, we living it up. Taking chances while we dancing in the party for show. Slip my girl for 44, she grabbing the back door.